The Village of Tinley Park. If you'd please rise and join me once again in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Maher?
Here.
Trustee Grady? Trustee Panito? Trustee Vandenberg?
Here.
Trustee Yonker?
Here.
Trustee Suggs? Mayor Seaman?
Here, we have a quorum. First item on the agenda, approval of the agenda. May I have such a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved, do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, consider approval of minutes of the special village board meeting held on April 3rd, 2017. May I have such a motion?
So moved.
And
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, Trustee Vandenberg.
Thank you, Mayor Seaman. Before I read items 3 through 7, I do have a brief statement to make about said items. On May 17, 2016, the Village Board passed Ordinance Number 2016-0-025, which rescinded an earlier ordinance titled Ordinance Number 2015-0-045 that was adopted on October 6, 2015, making certain amendments to the Legacy Code. The rescission of these text amendments essentially returned the Legacy Code to its original condition, and more specifically, the requirement of first-floor commercial uses. At that meeting, I proposed a thorough review of the 2011 Legacy Code and its potential effect in the downtown corridor. My desire was to have staff re-examine the Legacy Code to see whether it contributes to the village's vision for downtown corridor. In addition, I felt it was critical to examine the tax ramifications of land use requirements in the Legacy Code. Since that time, staff has done a thorough review of the proposed text amendments that were rescinded. The process started with the public hearing before the Plan Commission at the Odyssey Country Club on June 16, 2016. At that meeting, many residents came forward clearly stating that they wanted to retain the first floor commercial as is stated in the original Legacy Code. In addition to review by the Plan Commission, an ad hoc committee was created to assist in the review. The Citizens Advisory Committee. This committee has met for 10 sessions over the past year, and I want to thank them for all their time and hard work. Staff presented the results of their analysis along with recommendations to the Plan Commission at 3 workshops, which were November 3rd, 2016, February 2nd, 2017, and February 16, 2017. A public hearing was held then on March 2nd, 2017, with the final text amendments approved unanimously by the Plan Commission for recommendations to the Village Board. The Plan Commission did a very thorough job in the review of these amendments. They spent a great deal of time discussing each separate amendment at length. I want to thank them for all their diligence. I also want to thank the planning staff, Paula and Stephanie, the village attorney, for their professionalism throughout this entire process. The text amendments that are presented for the first reading this evening generally cover the same 5 areas as the text amendments that were rescinded in 2016. We will address them separately for an easier understanding by everyone. The first 2 ordinances are basically clerical in nature and correct some mistakes in the legal descriptions and diagrams found in the original Legacy Code. The ordinance deals with the first floor commercial, and new language clarifies the intent of this section, so there are no misunderstandings regarding our desire to see first floor commercial in certain areas of our downtown corridor. The 4th ordinance deals with the permitted, prohibited, and special uses in the downtown, and the 5th ordinance deals with landscaping. So on to item number 3. This time I would ask for consideration for ordinance number 2017-0-020, correcting scrivener's errors in the legal descriptions for the following zoning districts in the section of the Legacy Code of the Village of Tinley Park zoning ordinance and rezoning the 14 properties to their intended and proper classifications.
We have a second.
Second.
Thank you. Again, this is to consider recommending that the Village Board approve map amendments for rezonings for the various properties within and or near the Legacy District as a result of proposed corrections to scrivener's errors in the legal descriptions for the districts. These clerical errors were discovered upon the village engineer's review of legal descriptions within the Legacy District. The Plan Commission unanimously recommended approval of the map amendments at their March 2nd, 2017 meeting. And this is for first reading this evening.
For first reading, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4.
Thank you. This time I'll move to consider ordinance number 2017-0-2021, approving certain text amendments pertaining to updating and correcting various figures, charts, and labels contained in the Legacy Code of the Tinley Park zoning ordinance.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. This consideration is recommending the village board to approve text amendments related to updating various figures and labels and include, but are not limited to, updating figures within the Legacy Code to reflect corrections to Scrivener's errors and legal descriptions for each district, correcting the label on a figure, and correcting certain page numbers. Paula, is there anything else I'm missing on that?
No.
Thank you.
Do we have a second? Oh, I'm
Second.
sorry, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, trustee Vandenberg.
Thank you. This time, I'll move to consider ordinance number 2017-0-022, approving certain text amendments of the Tinley Park zoning ordinance pertaining to the requirement of street-level commercial.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. For consideration, recommending the village board to approve text amendments related to street-level commercial, including, but are not limited to, adding definitions for street-level commercial, accessory residential uses, commercial, residential, street level, and residential lobby, adding a required depth for street level commercial spaces, adding accessory residential uses on the street level to the list of special uses, and reformatting the general standard tables for each district to read more clearly. Again, this was before the Plan Commission and recommended for approval at the March 2nd, 2017 meeting.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, trustee Vandenberg.
This time I'll ask for consideration for ordinance number 2017-0-023, approving certain text amendments to section of the Tinley Park zoning ordinance pertaining to special and prohibited uses in the Legacy District.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Upon consideration, recommending the village board approve text amendments related to this permitted, special, and prohibited land uses and include, but are not limited to, adding cigar lounge to the list of special uses, adding medical marijuana dispensing facilities, hookah lounges, and retail sales of tobacco, hookah, cigarette, cigar, e-cigarette, and vapor products as primary use to the list of prohibited uses. The Plan Commission unanimously recommended approval of adding cigar lounge as a special use, medical marijuana dispensing facility, and retail sales of tobacco, hookah, cigarette, cigar, e-cigarette, and vapor products as a primary use to the list of prohibited uses. However, the vote to add hookah lounges to the list of prohibited uses was 7 in favor and 2 in opposition, with the motion carried for this recommendation this evening. This was before the Plan Commission on March 2nd, 2017.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, trustee Vandenberg.
All right, move to consider ordinance number 2017-0-024, approving certain text amendments to the section of the Legacy Code of the Tinley Park zoning ordinance pertaining to landscape and buffer yards in the Legacy District.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Consideration for recommending the village board approve text amendments related to the landscape buffers and including but are not limited to require a 5-foot wide buffer yard in certain circumstances. Again, this was before the Plan Commission on March 2nd, 2017 and was recommended for approval.
All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, trustee Vandenberg.
This time, I move to consider ordinance number 2017-0-029, annexing the property at 16441 Beverly Avenue.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. The annexation of this property was not required to be approved by the Plan Commission due to the fact that the property is being annexed as R1 in accordance with the default zoning from the village's comprehensive plan. The Kimberly Heights subdivision is zoned R1, so no change is required. The extension of water service to the subject's property is a natural progression of the water lines previously installed by the village. The property owner has paid the associated recapture connection costs. Notice of the proposed annexation were set to the Bremen Township and the Acorn Library District. This is first reading this evening.
As this is first reading, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 9, trustee Maher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd ask the board to consider on first reading ordinance number 2017-0-026, an ordinance amending Title 11, Chapter 129B of the Tinley Park Municipal Code Main Street Development Trust Fund.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
This ordinance provides for some necessary cleanup of the Tinley Park Municipal Code in connection with the fiscal year 2018 budget. In 1997, the village created the Main Street Business District and authorized the creation of a Main Street Development Trust Fund, accumulating certain incremental property and sales tax revenues generated from within the Main Street Business District to create a special reserve fund. The interest earnings from this fund were designed to support programs approved for the district. Following the recession we recently experienced, interest rates have dropped to almost zero, and the corpus of this fund no longer produces sufficient earnings to provide meaningful support for Main Street programming. As part of the fiscal year 2018 budget, the board has earmarked this fund toward the construction of a new downtown plaza as identified in the branding action plan adopted under Resolution 2017-R-016. The proposed plaza also meets the programming criteria of the Main Street Business District. As the fund and its uses were memorialized in the Tinley Park Municipal Code, the termination of this fund requires that the code be updated.
This is for first reading. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10.
Thank you,
Trustee
Mr. Mayor. Ask the board to consider on first reading ordinance number 2016-027, an ordinance amending Title 11, Chapter 127 of the Tinley Park Municipal Code, surcharge for emergency 911 telephone system.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is an ordinance to address cleanup of the Tinley Park Municipal Code to reflect changes as a result of new state legislation. Following a 1992 referendum, the village enacted a monthly enhanced 911 surcharge applicable to phone lines and service in the community to support enhanced 911 dispatch services. In 2015, the General Assembly approved Public Act 99-0006 that consolidated and unified the E911 surcharge rates for wired, wireless, and voice-over internet protocol throughout the state. The act also designated the Illinois State Police to administer the E911 surcharge, including the collection and distribution of surcharge funds to each local public safety answering point. These changes became effective January 1st of 2016 and nullify certain provisions included in the Tinley Park Municipal Code regarding the rate and administering and the collection of the E911 surcharge monies coincident with the 2016 effective date of the E911 surcharge provisions of Public Act 99-0006. There will be no change in fees from this amendment. This ordinance provides the necessary cleanup to the code to reflect the changes as created by the act.
This item's for first reading. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11, Trustee Maher.
I'd ask the board to consider on first reading ordinance number 2017-0-025, adopting the annual budget for the fiscal year ending April 30, 2018 for the village of Tinley Park, Cook and Will Counties, Illinois.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
On March 14th and 16th, the Committee of the Whole met and recommended approval of the budget for fiscal year ending April 30th, 2018. The total general fund expenditure budget as proposed at $52,389,819, and the total expenditure budget for all village funds, including the Tinley Park Public Library, but excluding the police pension fund, is $165,171,574. According to state statutes, a public hearing was held earlier tonight. A copy of the proposed budget has been available for public inspection at the village clerk's office since April 4, 2017. We just went through what the highlights of the budget are, so I don't know we need to repeat that. If there's any comments from the board members of the treasurer?
I have nothing.
I'm good, thank you.
This item is for first reading. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 12, Trustee Maher.
Ask the board to consider on first reading resolution number 2017-R-019, authorizing transfers from the general fund, water and sewer operations and maintenance fund, and commuter parking lot operations and maintenance fund.
Do we have a second?
Second.
This resolution implements a series of year-end transfers following established fiscal practices and as discussed at the Committee of the Whole meeting held on March 14th and 16th, 2017. These transfers are made from the excess of revenues over expenses expected to be generated for the fiscal year ending April 30th, 2017, or from the fund balance of the fund initiating the transfer. The transfers are made to capital reserve and debt service reserve funds to support the current and long-term needs of the village for replacement of infrastructure, equipment, and debt service. The resolution establishes not to exceed amounts for the contemplated transfers of $7.5 million from the general fund, $1 million from the water and sewer fund, and $500,000 from the commuter parking lot fund.
This item is for first reading. This is pretty perfunctory, and we've done this, I think, in all years gone by, so it's routine. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 13, Trustee Maher.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd ask the board to consider on first reading ordinance number 2017-0-017, adopting certain amendments to the Tinley Park Municipal Code 2017-S-031 supplement.
Do we have a second?
Second.
This is the thank you. This is the ordinance that approves the periodic update of the codification that was originally adopted in 1986. This supplement would include all ordinances adopted by the board during calendar year 2016. After the update, the new version of the municipal code will also be available on the village website.
This is largely a clerk's office function. Are there any comments you'd like to make related to this?
No, this is just routine. Every year we do this at this time.
Okay. On that note, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14, comments from the board and staff. I'd like to start with one. With us tonight, we've got Rich Wolf, who is the director of the library. And if there are any questions about the budget process as it relates to library, our resident expert on library is in attendance this evening. I'd also like to congratulate Trustee Vandenberg and his election. Likewise, in the audience, we have Trustee-elect Mike Glotz. Congratulations to both of you, and good luck. I hope it goes well.
Thank you, Mayor.
On that note, any...
I just also echo your remarks and congratulate Jake and also Mike and all your running mates, and the best of luck to you. We all hope everything goes well.
Thank you, Brian.
Also, this week is National Telecommunicator Week. Pat Carr requested that I make an announcement, and I just want to say a few words about it. Whether it's a fire, robbery, medical, or other personal emergency, there's always someone to answer our call for help in our moment of need. We pick up the phone, make the call to 911, and listen to the voice on the other end. The voice guides us through our crisis until responders arrive. While we may never see the faces or know their names, these public safety professionals are the vital link to the emergency responders who come to our rescue. The Tinley Park 911 Center is staffed 24/7, 365 days a year, and these professionals, also known as telecommunicators, are prepared to answer your emergency. April 9th through April 15th is National Telecommunicator Week. The 911 Center appreciates all the hard work and dedication the telecommunicators do every day. We like to honor everyone in the center. However, each year, the 911 Center chooses one telecommunicator to recognize. This year, Bridget Dukakis-Roy was chosen Telecommunicator of the Year. Bridget has contributed to the team's morale in positive ways all year. She's always steps up to assist her coworkers and has been a valuable asset. Is Bridget with us today? How appropriate is that? Anyway, thank you to all of those who work so hard for us. And to Laura, congratulations.
Yes, please congratulate the entire crew on our behalf. We certainly do appreciate their efforts, Pat.
I'm sorry, to Bridget.
Mayor and gentlemen, received in the mail today confirmation that we have once again received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for our annual comprehensive annual financial audit report. As we've talked before, this is a high honor, and this is actually the 25th consecutive year that we've received this award. I would like to hopefully in the near future get our budget into the same process, but and I guess, as I mentioned earlier, we are moving in that direction. But it's very satisfying to see that we've once again achieved this high honor.
Well, congratulations, Brad, and please express our congratulations to the finance staff that work so hard to make these things possible. It truly is appreciated, and those are the kind of things that, get oftentimes taken for granted, just like a good budget that always seems to, be met. It gets taken for granted without people understanding the work that goes behind keeping budgets on track, keeping, that kind of reporting standards on track. So that, I think, certainly the budget management is a kudo for all village staff that are responsible for that process, and that includes supervisors and the manager and everybody else in the village that has financial responsibility. So we thank you and are appreciative of that. Anybody else on the board have any comment? Anybody from the public here to comment? Please, Lucas.
Hi. First off, I want to say congratulations to Mayor-elect Vandenberg, and thank you, Mayor Seaman, and your slate for running and your service to the village. The only two comments I want to make was I appreciate that we voted, or that the reading of the text amendments were separated instead of being something all together. I just want to echo my comments to the planning committee. Sorry, to the planning committee about the whole ban of hookah. I personally don't see a huge difference between that and a cigar shop, and I just want to echo my opinion that I think it should also be a special use. I don't see much of a difference between a joint use of a hookah shop and also a cigar shop like how we have here on 109th. I think it's called Hollywood. It seems to be a nice place to do both cigars and hookah. Again, I don't really understand the separation of the two, but I just want to come up there and say I agree with a lot of stuff on there as far as the bans, as far as stuff that's allowed, but that's one thing I disagree with. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Paz.
Okay. All right, so first of all, some thank yous are in order. First of all, thank you to Laura, because we couldn't find the budget, which was kind of buried. I think going forward, since the budget is such an immaculate piece of work, it should be right there on the front page of the website. But Laura, I do appreciate you taking me through all the little links to get to it. Thank you for your time on that at Discover Tinley, which was great, by the way. Seeing so many friendly village faces there, including Laura and Steph. And just the other day, and Paula, I didn't see you there, but I want to let you know that you're like one of my favorite village employees too, and I'm sorry I left you out at the last meeting. So, and going off of that, first reading of all those amendments, as Lucas just mentioned, that was a tremendous amount of work that the Plan Commission put in, Paula and Stephanie. The Plan Commission, obviously, Councilor Connolly, of course, pushing hard to get it all separated out, so everything was voted on separately. You read it separately. It'll be voted on next time separately. So, these 5 completely disparate things, were looked at individually. We debated it. We had discussions. We had votes on it all. So, there was none of this stuff lumped together like it was last time. Great job by everyone. I want to echo what Lucas said. I know you guys worked extremely hard because I was at a lot of those meetings. I live broadcast some of those meetings because I wanted to see everybody. I at least wanted to give the opportunity for my fellow Tinley Park residents to see all the work that was put in, and it was a tremendous effort. And we're right near the end now of getting it done. So thank you, Jake, obviously, as liaison, but obviously Paul and Steph and the Plan Commission, really just amazing work. So thank you. The one last thing, I guess, I want to thank you, the people of Tinley Park, for really increasing those vote counts. We pumped up those numbers, I think we were well over what we voted for in the 2013 election and the 2015 election. Great job here at the village with the early voting. Had some really great numbers. I know Clerk Ray mentioned that last time. I was really proud of Tinley Park coming out. I felt it was good. It was like democracy. I felt good to be an American. So, let's keep that up and keep those vote numbers going up in 2019 and 2021. Way to go, Tinley Park. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Anybody else have any comment? Let the record reflect there were none. Move to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Just for your information, we'll be starting our committee of the whole at 7:30, so please feel free to stick around and join us for that. Thank you.